The word epic is so overused.
That pizza was epic.
What up, guys? Just finished an epic yoga session. Namaste, and follow me on IG.
Yo, did you see how many times Darius fell on his board? Epic. If all those things are epic, heli-skiing in Alaska is epic-er. I'm at Alyeska Resort, just outside of Anchorage, Alaska. One of the cool things about Alyeska is that the Chugach Powder Guides, a heli-ski operation, is nearby. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. I paid for my heli-skiing day myself. Yeah, like anybody would sponsor me so they could get a low-budget promo on YouTube. They have their own videos on YouTube.
Chugach Powder Guides publishes their rates online. It's early season, so I paid $1,425 for 1 day of heli-skiing. What that gets you is a pickup at your hotel, a training on avalanche and helicopter safety, and then 1,600 to 1,800 vertical feet, assuming that the weather conditions cooperate. If they don't, they'll discount the rates you paid by how much vertical feet you actually get.
And if, like me, you don't have the right skis or board for the type of terrain you'll be hitting, they have rentals. And as if I even have to ask, why would you want a heli-ski in Alaska? Well, I remember watching Greg Stump videos growing up, and there was one called Groove Requiem that had footage of legendary skier Scott Schmidt and snowboarder Dan Donnelly hitting crazy extreme terrain outside of Valdez, Alaska. We're obviously not hitting that type of terrain, but that's where I decided one day I want to heli-ski in Alaska.
So after the training on helicopter and avalanche safety, we suited up and headed out to the Alaskan Chugach Mountains.
The sun was just coming over the horizon, so the snow had this nice golden pink hue to it, making the experience even more insane. It was the first time they were headed out into the main terrain for the season, so we spent some time looking for the ideal spot. And with that, we were off for an initial run, which was probably one of the coolest runs I've had in 10 years. Our guide was Paul, who was totally awesome. Typically, Paul would go first because he's most aware of avalanche safety, and the first person down is the one who's most at risk. Depending on the slope, we would be spaced out one by one. I actually don't have powder skis, so I rented a pair from them, and oh my God, I just felt like I was gliding. No effort whatsoever.
After the first stretch, we regrouped where Paul had stopped. And I was like, man, Paul, why'd you stop? You're taking away my joy. I could have continued forever. And as he plotted the next course, if you happened to look up, you could see the sun having just cleared the mountain peaks. And then we were off again.
Once we all assembled at the bottom spot, we were ready for the helicopter pickup. I didn't film the helicopter as it was landing because we really had to keep our hands on all the equipment so it wouldn't get blown away by the helicopter. Snowboards in particular were most likely to be blown, so no time to film.
The next run was even more wide open. And I started to realize you need to savor this while you're in the moment.
It's like something I never see. Your eyes like masquerade.
It's what you fantasize about. Untouched snow, a bluebird day, no one around. And you are living it right now.
They took us to an area called Yo Mama. Yes, it's called Yo Mama, which usually has great snow. It was actually the worst of the day, still nice and untouched. But because it was in the shade and there's a little bit of a weird crust on it, we only did that section once. And then you have lunch. Lunch was sandwiches and, believe it or not, hot chocolate, which was perfect because the area we stopped was the only place during the entire day that was actually pretty cold with a brisk wind. So we downed the hot chocolate and got out of there quickly.
As we approached the landing spot for the next 2 runs, I started thinking to myself, first of all, where is the helicopter going to land? And second of all, where are we going to ski or board? Because all I see is a cliff. There actually was a wide open field on the backside, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't film it the first time we skied it when the snow was completely untracked. The second time, I definitely filmed it. My plan was to take the initial tracked up steep section and then make a beeline over to the right where there was still some fresh snow. So how would you describe Alaska heli-skiing? Well, on an emotional level, you're 5, Christmas morning, you're disappointed because you have not gotten the one thing you wanted. Then you open your final present, and there it is. That feeling. Or you're in grade school, and you're obsessed with your first major crush that you can't stop thinking about. Life wasn't worth living without them. And then somebody passes you a note from your crush in class revealing your crush likes you too. That feeling. Or maybe let's take a more cerebral approach. One word. Transcendent. But hey, if you're going to use one word, maybe the best description is epic-er.